In the world of royalty, where every smile, every glance, every tender touch can become the subject of worldwide fascination, there is nothing more powerful, or more dangerous, than a single image. One photo can tell 1,000 stories, spark headlines across continents, and set the tone for how millions view their beloved monarchs. But what happens when the image is not real? When a photograph that appears so convincing, so full of emotion, is in fact a fabrication? That is exactly the storm that has erupted around Queen Mary of Denmark and her husband, King Frederik X. Across social media platforms, mysterious and shockingly realistic images have been making the rounds, images that claim to show Queen Mary in tears, clutched protectively in the arms of King Frederik, as though caught in a deeply personal and vulnerable moment. The pictures are hauntingly intimate. They seem to portray a private moment between husband and wife, a rare glimpse into the emotional core of Denmark's royal couple. For those who see them without context, they look like the very definition of love and support in the midst of crisis. But there's one enormous problem: they are not real. They are fabricated, digitally altered images that have spread like wildfire, fooling thousands and raising serious questions about privacy, truth, and the growing problem of misinformation in the digital age. To understand the magnitude of this scandal, we must first picture the scene that so many around the world believe to be genuine. In the fake images, Queen Mary's usually composed and radiant expression is replaced with tearful vulnerability. Her eyes glisten as though holding back sobs, her posture leaning heavily into King Frederik, who wraps his arms around her as if shielding her from some unseen emotional blow. The composition is perfect, almost too perfect. The lighting, the angles, the subtle details of their clothing and surroundings, all seemingly authentic. It is no wonder the images quickly captivated social media users, who rushed to share them with captions expressing sympathy, admiration, or even speculation about what could have caused such a visible display of emotion. The theories were as wild as they were varied. Some claimed the Queen had received heartbreaking news, others suggested a rift within the royal family, while a few insisted it was connected to political tensions or personal loss. But none of these stories were rooted in fact. What they were rooted in was something far more alarming: the manipulation of public perception through technology. Experts who examined the photographs quickly began to notice telltale signs of digital alteration. Minute inconsistencies in lighting, unnatural blending along facial contours, and the kind of subtle distortion that even the most sophisticated AI-generated images still struggle to mask. What made the situation so dangerous was how convincing these fakes were to the untrained eye. In a world where AI image generators and advanced editing tools are available to almost anyone, the line between reality and fabrication is rapidly disappearing. For Queen Mary, a woman who has spent decades navigating the often unforgiving glare of royal life, this was more than just an invasion of privacy. It was a potential threat to her public image and to the dignity of the Danish crown. Those who know the Queen personally have long described her as warm, intelligent, and fiercely devoted to both her family and her royal duties. She has faced her share of challenges, from adjusting to life in Denmark after her Australian upbringing, to raising 4 children under the pressures of public scrutiny, to standing beside King Frederik through both joyous occasions and difficult times. But she has always maintained her poise, never allowing the public to see her in a moment of deep distress. That is why these fake images struck such a powerful chord, because they showed something she would rarely, if ever, display so openly in public. It was as if the illusion had been crafted to pull on the heartstrings of the public, to create a narrative that she was fragile, in need of comfort, and perhaps going through something monumental. But who would create such images, and why? That question has yet to be fully answered, though there are theories. Some suggest it could be the work of individuals seeking attention through viral posts. Others believe it may be a deliberate attempt to stir controversy within the Danish royal narrative, perhaps even to undermine public trust in the monarchy itself. Whatever the motive, the damage was real. Once the images spread, they became fodder for gossip magazines, online commentators, and conspiracy theorists. Even after official sources confirmed that the photos were fabricated, many continued to believe in their authenticity, insisting that, where there's smoke, there's fire. The royal household, in keeping with its tradition of measured and dignified communication, has not released an emotional statement but has reportedly taken steps to investigate the origin of the images. Legal experts point out that under Danish law, the creation and dissemination of fake images depicting public figures could constitute defamation or a violation of privacy, especially if they are designed to mislead. The episode has also reignited debates about how monarchies should adapt to an era where a single fake photograph can undo years of carefully maintained public image. In the age of TikTok, Instagram, and AI-driven image manipulation, royal families are more vulnerable than ever to fabricated narratives. For Queen Mary and King Frederik, this is not just a public relations challenge, it's a personal affront. Sources close to the palace say the couple was deeply disturbed when they learned of the images, not only because of the false story they told but because of the way they intruded into the intimacy of their marriage. In truth, there has been no public indication of any crisis in their relationship or in the Queen's personal life. By all accounts, the couple remains united, continuing their work as Denmark's monarchs with dedication and grace. Yet the images have left a mark, a reminder of how easily truth can be rewritten in pixels, how swiftly a lie can become part of the public consciousness. The public's reaction has been mixed. Many have expressed outrage that anyone would target the royal family in this way, flooding social media with messages of support for Queen Mary. Others, unfortunately, have used the incident as an opportunity to fuel speculation and drama, refusing to accept that the images were staged. And then there are those who see the entire episode as a cautionary tale, a warning to question everything we see online, no matter how real it appears. This is not the first time a royal figure has been the target of digital manipulation, but the sophistication of these images suggests a worrying trend. If this can happen to Queen Mary, it can happen to anyone in the public eye, celebrities, politicians, and even private citizens whose photos fall into the wrong hands. For now, the palace's strategy seems to be one of quiet resilience. Queen Mary and King Frederik have continued with their official engagements, appearing together in public with the same warmth and unity that have long endeared them to the Danish people. Their message, unspoken but clear, is that no amount of digital deceit can shake the bond they share or the commitment they have to their roles. And yet, as this scandal fades from the headlines, the larger question remains: how do we, as a global society, protect truth in an era where images can lie so convincingly? And yet the most troubling part of this entire episode is not just that a set of false images could spark such an emotional response, but how quickly they can blur the lines between genuine compassion and manipulated emotion. When people saw Queen Mary's face streaked with what appeared to be tears, many instinctively reacted with empathy, sending heartfelt messages and even speculating about possible hardships she might be enduring. The human instinct to comfort, to protect, and to care is powerful, but it was triggered here by a moment that never happened. This is where the true danger lies. In the realm of royalty, public perception is built on trust, and trust is a fragile currency. Once it is compromised, restoring it is a long and uncertain process. The Danish monarchy, much like its counterparts in other parts of Europe, relies on its ability to embody stability, dignity, and authenticity. A lie, even one as seemingly harmless as a fabricated image of a queen in tears, chips away at that foundation. In the days following the viral spread of these photos, discussions erupted across Danish news programs, online forums, and even international media outlets. Some commentators argued that this was a wake-up call, not just for the royals but for every public institution, to invest more in monitoring and countering false visual content. Others insisted the royal family should respond with a strong public statement, condemning the act and warning of the consequences for those responsible. Still, the palace remained measured in its approach, adhering to its long-standing tradition of not giving undue oxygen to unfounded rumors. Behind the scenes, however, digital forensic experts were reportedly engaged to trace the origins of the images. The investigation is said to have focused on several high-traffic social media accounts where the photos first appeared. These accounts, some anonymous and others based outside Denmark, are believed to have a history of posting manipulated celebrity or political images designed to go viral. It is unclear whether any legal action will be pursued, but sources suggest the palace is quietly building a case in the event that the defamation threshold under Danish law can be met. Meanwhile, technology specialists warn that this kind of incident is only going to become more common. With artificial intelligence tools improving at lightning speed, the barriers to creating convincing fake images have all but disappeared. What once required a professional graphic artist and hours of painstaking work can now be accomplished in minutes by anyone with a powerful enough AI generator and a single source photo to work from. And the most unsettling part, these tools don't just make images, they make narratives. They create emotional hooks designed to spread quickly and lodge themselves into the public mind. That is exactly what happened here. The emotional hook of a queen in distress, comforted by her husband, was irresistible. It appealed to those who admire the royal couple as symbols of enduring love, to those who are fascinated by the private lives of monarchs, and even to those who seek signs of weakness or controversy. In a digital landscape where speed matters more than accuracy, very few pause to ask the most important question: is this real? Now, as the dust begins to settle, the incident leaves behind an uncomfortable truth. No matter how often the palace or fact-checkers clarify that the photos are false, there will always be a portion of the public who remembers the images more vividly than the truth. This is the psychological stickiness of misinformation. Once an image plants itself in someone's mind, it takes root in a way that even the clearest denial cannot fully uproot. For Queen Mary and King Frederik, this is not just a temporary irritation, it is a lasting reminder that their lives, even their most personal and tender moments, can be rewritten without their consent. And for the rest of us, it is a call to vigilance, a reason to slow down before hitting the share button, to think twice about the stories we choose to believe, and to ask ourselves whether we are seeing truth or just a beautifully crafted illusion. So perhaps the real question we must all face is this: when the next fabricated royal moment appears on our screens, will we be ready to question it before believing it? When our hearts can be moved by something that never actually happened, when the tears on a queen's face can be fabricated pixel by pixel, what does that mean for our ability to trust what we see? That is a question that demands not only an answer but urgent action, before the next false image takes hold of the world's imagination. So, what do you think? In a world where technology can fake even the most intimate royal moment, how can we protect truth from being rewritten?